Hi everyone, welcome to day 80. Day 79, what we closes with? On the day 79, we closes with one of the tasks of the front-end development. If you remember, we have designed our front-end UI and then we move towards front-end development for the second iteration where we build some pages of the admin and enhance some pages of the user. Also, we will one or two or more pages for user as well. Then we are now moving towards backend development where we need to either we have to either create new APIs or have to modify few APIs to give the data. So what are different tasks available in the backend? Let's check that. And with that, we will decide the timeline of the backend and we will start working towards that. So you can see in the backend development, the new part is user API modification, then search API, then user API, review API for the post review API, then the my post API where it will display all the posts related to the current user, the count API where we use the in the admin page where that count of the every aspect is there. Then there's a then there is a post review and user review again. Sorry, so these two are repeated. So let's delete this. Then we have to we have to change the database schema, so that is another task. And then we have to set up the caching. So for that we will discuss which tool we will use, and we will set up a mailer which will send the report on a monthly basis or daily basis or whatever we want. We'll set up all of those things and we will start working towards backend development. So what do you think, what was the first step? What should we start with? Developing an API, caching, mailer, or database schema change? So, if you ask me, as a developer, what should I design first? The first thing for the API, we need to fetch the data from the database. So we require database. So first, we design the database. And if mailer and cache independent, why not we design first that? So for the mailer, we need to create a report, and report is again based on database data, and data is coming from database. And why not caching? So caching could be possible, but where to apply the caching? Basically on the routes, and again routes require those things, and we have to set think which route require caching, which don't. So we will set up all of those things. So that's why first step is towards database schema. Now, how to design that database schema? Where would be? So if you remember, if you don't, you can visit my previous playlist for beginners, and in that you will find this. I have made this table. Basically, this is the database and different tables we have already maintained. Now what we want to modify some of these columns and all sort of those things. So today the task will be shorter and just this task. So we will do this task. Now what the change in user require? So the change in user require, we will maintain and get that idea from what that APIs we have to design. So in the API, if I see user review, so there must be one option where I can, after review, I can block and check which user we need to review. So how to check that? We can make a check, like let's say under review, true or false. That could be possibility, and by default it will be false. If someone mark them review, so it will make change that true. So that is the part. What the other thing is there? We have to modify that, and then we have to maintain after blocking. For blocking again, we require one of the modifications. Is the status true or false? Again, if it's false, it is not allowed to log in. If it's true, it will be allowed to log in. So we will learn about true false, or we can choose about enums. So what does enum means? So basically it is one of the special thing which takes input of, let's say I want status to be active or blocked. Now there is third possibility that inactive. So let's say 6 months, last login period was 6 months, we can make them inactive. So they have to restructure everything, or the post of them start getting deleted. Then we can delete the account. That's the future goals you can think of, or the problem solution you can think of. So we will make the status, and one more thing, that is under review, and third thing, last login time. So let's add these three columns for user. Also, now if you see, we have to make modifications based on role. So there is also another role, admin. So we will add a role function as well. So we require multiple columns after that. The first thing is, let's say role, then last login, then under review, and finally is status. So all of these things are there, but still one parameter is missing. What's that? The parameter which we set in the sign up page, the name parameter. So let's add one more column and mark it as name. So now you can see it's a very big table and it has lots and lots of data. Now similarly for post, we will check post is under review or not, and based on review we can either block that or something. So again it required two more things. First, under review and status. So these are the things that is required. And what sort of more things is required? If you think, for the post review we have added that, for user review we have added that, for user notification, or let's mark the deadline as, now today is 5, so let's mark deadline as somewhere around 21st Sunday. Let's hope we can able to build that. So we have started working on database schema, so let's change it to in progress. And then let's go back to here. We can find all of the APIs can be working with these things. Now what are the different things that is required to send? So that is here in the notifications, notification ID created on user ID notification. Post is already been there, comments has been there, user has been there. Now what more could be there? You can, if you think deeply, you will find out this is the just basic changes that are required for a project. So again, the implementation part is we have to think. So let's get back here, and this is the all the front-end code. Let's close all of them. So we need to send this to GitHub as well, but before sending to GitHub we need API integration. So we are waiting for that. Now in the models, what we will do, in the user we will add multiple columns. First thing is a role, db.column, nullable equals to false, default equals to user. Now there is under review. So you forget this code, you can visit back where I write this code, and that is in the development for beginners, my first playlist. You can visit that. Now it is db again, db dot boolean, nullable equals to false, again default equals to false. So let's see the default code. So let's say I don't know this, so I will do this. Now after under review, what should be there? Status, db.column, db.text, nullable equals to false, default status should be, what should be the default status? So in the status, we right now there's three category, but out of which two is more prominent, that is active and blocked. So let's make it active, and then last login time, which is again will be db.column, db.date, it could be null level. So these are the multiple changes we need to do in models.py, and also we have to add name. So we will add name after phone itself. Name should not be unique. So there are multiple things that need to be there. So based on this, the API need to be modified, and what need to be sent, we will add that accordingly. So now what are different things could be done? Now the next change is about the post under review and status. db.column, db.boolean, nullable equals to false, and status. We have to add default. Also status will be db.column, db dot. So it could be either active or blocked. So we can mark it as using boolean. 0 means equals to false. Default it should be true. True means active and false means blocked. I hope this is understandable. So I have added this. Now rest will remain as it is, and I hope it is visible to you, and it is working perfectly fine. We will come back tomorrow with more changes or whatever things we require. With this, I take your leave and have a small session over this. Thank you.